All right, good afternoon. Welcome back here to Trader Minute. Great to have you aboard. We have some work to do here for the challenge. There are no new signals on the board right now, but we do have two positions on the board. And Walmart's at its auto exit date, so time to go. We have Microsoft, which is past its auto exit date red. Still has another day for its green date, but this is an option that's been trading in the red here throughout the day. Do I hold it? Do I not? This is just one of those in that really kind of nebulous gray area that, we don't have a lot of that, in terms of the challenge algorithm, but it is sitting, kind of in that area. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to pull both positions off and go to cash here and, just to wait for the next signal. And, if we were running the challenge last quarter, we'd be on Microsoft's auto exit date here today, but we did expand them by just a little bit. But, when I look at Microsoft, I look at the past data, Microsoft could easily break out, very well could. But as it sits and how the option is, I'm just going to take it and, move on and look for, greener pastures, essentially. So let's go do it. Let's go do it here. Microsoft, pop this off the board. We're up a whole $7.50 on it. My goodness. All right. So let's see here. 360, 365. So I'm just going to put in a market order and fill it at market. And it looks like 360 is my fill price there. So out of Microsoft at 360. Let me make sure the order goes out here. So we got in at 355, out at 360. That never feels great. But yeah. Just wait for the thumbs up that the alert went out. And then Walmart here, going to cash this out as it's at its time stop here. And let's see if we can make that happen. And again, I'm just going to do a market order for the three contracts. And boom, there we are. Looks like 310. Looks like I'm not getting the fill alert here just yet. Looks like Thinkorswim's lagging on me just a bit. There we go. Yeah, 310. 310 is the exit there for Walmart. Let me make sure the alert goes out here. And we'll come in and update here. So Walmart 310 exit price and Microsoft here was 360. All right, so not much progress made with Microsoft and with Walmart. Let's see, 10:16 p.m. exit, 10:16 p.m. exit, and all of these positions are closed. My apologies for not having this category updated. All right, so there we are. So that puts us about back where we were, after Intel, and, with the same mentality in terms of the next signals. Next signals, will roll. There is a situation where if we were to get like one signal come in, here tomorrow or something like that, I may go put something like 1,400 into the signal and run with it. If we get multiple signals, I'll split it up. But, just with where things are, and I'll show you tomorrow, I don't see potential for, having a whole bunch of signals right in a row. So, as we get a signal, we'll likely, up the ante there on it and, run with that instead of, kind of waiting for, waiting for more signals to come in here. So out of Walmart, out of Microsoft, both you probably hear a little disappointment in my voice. Microsoft, the stock gained, right? Walmart, the stock gained, right? But they did not gain enough to overcome our trade theta. Just the overall time decay element here that came in from holding those. And the time decay took away the singular delta that was in them, which is what we would expect. What we would have priced out, had we had known upon entry that this is where it would be today. The options are priced, as indicated. So there we are, out of Microsoft, out of Walmart. Now, do want to go out and take a look at some energy here with you, but there are no new signals on the board. We do have some downside crossovers in stocks like Halliburton has a downside crossover. Vale has a downside crossover, but not bearish signals on them. We have Disney with an upside crossover, but not a bullish signal on it. I thought we might get a bullish signal out of Boeing earlier, but so far as it sits, we are not seeing a signal come into play. But let's go take a look at oil. Here's oil. Oil's up today. And oil's up about 60 cents. And you can see the USO up a little bit here, but near the lows for the year, right? Had a nice little thrust in January, but, since then, this has kind of been the low for the year. But with oil up about 60 cents, we're seeing the energy sector down 1%. Which we don't see very often, but when we see it, when we see oil go one way, energy go the other way, we tend to see, energy continue to go the way that it went on the day it was doing something different from oil. So very interesting spot, and if tomorrow we were to start to see a gap down below that 7-day moving average, I think energy could be revisiting some of its lows from August and down here to the lower Bollinger Band. I think that's kind of a path of least resistance for the sector. We've talked about this year the Chevron versus XLE trade. And that, if you're insistent upon energy exposure to the upside, buying Chevron shares, owning Chevron shares, and shorting the XLE is a combo trade, and looking for Chevron to outperform the XLE. And that has worked very well so far this year. We continue to see the XLE lag Chevron, here since the April time period. And I do expect that will continue if we see oil continue to pull back. Because you think about oil pulling back, you think about, who's that kind of benefit? Who's it hurt? It doesn't hurt Chevron all that much. Chevron has some very cheap drilling properties that, hey, if price of oil goes down, they're still going to, print money with those. It can help some of their refinery business depending on the crack spreads there. But, they're definitely not levered to the price of oil the way a Halliburton is, the way an EOG Resources is, or the way even an Exxon is, when it comes to the raw price of crude there. So, it really does look like path of least resistance, continuing to be lower here for energy. But one of those where a gap down tomorrow, I think is a very nice short setup for a lot of these stocks in the energy sector. And I'll be looking to make that trade, not for the challenge, but personally. And if I do go make the trade, I'll share that with you here tomorrow morning. But we'll be looking at that here come morning. Now, also tomorrow morning, I'm going to go through the challenge watch list with you, show you the stocks that are on the verge or close to signals, and some of the stocks that aren't anywhere close. We have a decent mix out there. As it sits right now. We do have some big earnings after the bell today with stocks that are on the watch list. IBM, Netflix, both have earnings after the bell. CSX has earnings after the bell, and Alcoa as well here after the bell. So those will be, important in terms of the challenge watch list. And then here tomorrow morning, we're going to hear from Morgan Stanley. Let's face it, we've already heard from the banks. We know what bank earnings are going to look like. But then Honeywell and Union Pacific in the morning, I think, are two big ones, in terms of market direction and, more importantly, the guidance that these companies give. Honeywell guidance, I think, could be a big market mover. And I know all eyes are going to be on Netflix, and there's going to be a lot of conversation and analyst and talk, and there's probably going to be a big move in Netflix. But in terms of Netflix affecting the markets, probably not. In terms of Honeywell, Union Pacific, CSX, what their guidance is affecting the markets, yeah, absolutely. So very interested to see how that comes into play here. We still have market vibe on a bullish signal. I did drop down to a 4 here today. We have the bullish percent index, which has continued to kind of move on up here, and it did just shy of its 6-point move. That would be kind of a confirmed bull signal. But, we have a lot of stocks trading above, different indicators like the 7-day moving average, 20-day moving average. It's not super overly bullish, but, we have 80% of the stocks trading above the 7-day moving average. That's a very big number, and it's a number that we see on breakouts, and it's a number that we see on short-term overbought conditions, right? And so it always has that kind of double-edged sword there, like most things in the market. But when we look at the aggregate of the rest of the internals, they do remain rather bullish out there. All right? Thanks for hopping on. Have yourselves a fantastic day, and we'll talk to you tomorrow morning. Take care.